Hi, Kim here with Art Classes for Kids, and today I'm going to tell you about one of my former students. This is Blaze, and when Blaze was a young tot, he was taking art from me at as young as age 5. Here's a photo of Blaze at about age 7 with one of the other students and his sister India, who was about 5 then. They were attending my art camp. Every summer I have this art camp. The kids all come, get inspired, make art, and then do it again the next summer. So that was something that Blaze did, and here's a few examples of his art when he was a kid. Now Blaze is 22 years old, a full-time graphic designer, and living and working in New York City. Let's hear a little bit more about Blaze's journey. So Blaze, you're living in New York City now, right?
Yep, I am.
That's so exciting. I love New York City. So, how did you go from doing art as a kid to having a full-time career and moving to New York City? I mean, tell me a little bit about the kind of art you made in between that.
So I think, middle school, I think a lot of kids usually get into graffiti. I think that was a big one for me.
Uh-huh.
I love the whole graffiti vibe, playing with letters and trying to make them as bubbly as I could without losing what they actually were as letters. And I distinctly remember using a digital program like Flash to animate my graffiti letters.
So you were already doing animation as a tween?
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, 7th grade was my first multimedia class, and my teacher taught me how to animate a lot of my drawings. And once I started doing that, that was the big pivotal moment of me taking my drawings and actually putting them into the computer and realizing that I could do digital art.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I think that was the big whoa moment for me to go, okay, I can do my art on the computer. And from there, it can be on whatever, once it's in the computer, it can be transferred into files to be printed. It can be turned into animations. There's so many.
Were you doing
avenues.
Illustration on the computer or just graphics that you would pick out stuff and put it together?
I was doing original artwork on the computer, with a mouse. I think for my first few things, just learning the programs. And I remember the first thing I ever animated, I did, my little tag name was called Scar.
Yeah.
And I wrote out Scar in bubble letters, and then I drew a graffiti can, a spray can, and it went over the letters in the way that it would be written out on a wall or something.
So did you spend a lot of time designing on the computer and then taking it out to the streets?
I think once I realized I could do it on the computer, I didn't like the whole going out on the streets thing, because that just scared me. I didn't ever want to get caught.
Good for you.
But yeah.
Wow. So then what took you from that to where you started getting more design oriented? Was that going into high school?
Yeah, more so. Once I realized I liked the graphic work and the whole digital thing, I decided to go to a technical high school, Southwest Career and Technical Academy.
Nice.
And there, my first class, so I decided to do web design, and my first class for web design as a major was Graphic Design 1. And that kind of got me into learning Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop.
Then you're on your way.
Yeah, then it was okay, I have these tools, but how do I make my stuff look like how everyone else is in the great
How
stuff.
clean.
Yeah.
So what were some of the highlights of high school as far as your design? Didn't you design an app or something?
Yeah, a lot of it was our teachers pushing us to look at a lot of recent work on all awards. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's the best websites
Oh.
that are coming out. Like, and
Oh,
they have
okay.
like it's pretty much like they give awards to websites each year.
Website design, yeah.
Yeah, and so she'd have us go through all these websites in the beginning of the year, pick one, and almost make us like, yo, you got to recreate this in your own way.
Oh, so kind of use that as a basis for inspiration.
Yeah, exactly. So I think being able to apply what we've learned in the class for like an hour and a half each day, that's kind of how our school is set up. You'd have like an hour and a half of learning Photoshop, Illustrator, Dreamweaver, and then you'd have an extra hour and a half after that to practice and play with it.
Oh, that's cool.
And so being able to apply that right after learning it, I think is what made us so much more successful. I think without having that like practice time, like, I mean, even learning with you, like when I was younger, you giving us that space and that time in the beginning of a class to just sit there and draw and ask the teachers, like, hey, how would I remember distinctly there was a time where I was like, I want to draw a shark. And you were like, oh, let me show you how to draw a shark. You showed me how to draw a shark, and then I got to apply that immediately after for the extra like 10 minutes that we had.
Yeah.
And then from then on, I always remembered how to draw.
See, all these creative
you know?
artists, they need to still have that express themselves time, you know.
Totally.
So fun.
Yeah.
And I think that, that's got to be one of the bigger points for me.
So did you do, well, I do remember something about you designing the app, so I didn't know if it was all straight graphic design or was it other different kind of digital media?
So the app kind of came towards the end of my high school career. I had a buddy who was really into the coding, and I was much more on the design side and the graphic work.
So you were collaborating.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. And he just kind of, he made it possible for me to streamline my ideas and make them work
Yeah.
rather than me, because I could come up with what they're going to look like, but I was like, I don't know how to make that button go here.
Yeah.
You know, how an app
But see, that is good to know because you could be a really creative designer, but you still need to work on as a team to get what other people know really good, the technical part, someone else is an expert at, and then you put it all together. Kind of like making a movie.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things too, is like, it's not that you don't want to not learn those things, and I had a little bit of a grasp on what he was doing with the app as well, but at the end of the day, he's like, that's how his brain works, and he's geared towards that, so why not have everyone efficiently
Do what they do best.
Yes, on the team.
That's awesome. So how did you get your first job? Like paying job doing graphic design?
My first job was with the local church here, Central Christian. My mom and I had been going there since like, I don't know, since I was in like 6th grade. And she heard that they had an opening for like an internship over the summer. I think it was 2010 or 11, I think. And then I went in for an internship that summer, and I had that job all up until this past December. And that's
Oh wow! But you started that in high school?
Started in high school, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every week of high school, I would get done with school, go to the church, and work on everything from flyers to.
Well, it's a really huge church. It's not like your church on the corner with 200 members.
Yeah. It's not like just like a weekly
It's a mega
pamphlet.
church. Yeah.
It was like, I mean, something like your YouTube channel. Like if I needed to pump out like slides for you to have a video, going on every week, it was just like there was a pile up of work. So.
So they weren't in a shortage of needing, they needed artists.
Totally, yeah.
And you could also learn on the job.
Exactly. So it was like I was learning at school, and then I was also able to apply what I was learning straight to work. And so I think the amount of hours and time I spent on a computer and learning the software, it's like anything. It's like if you learn your tools correctly.
The more you practice, the quicker you get.
I guess, yeah.
So now, how did you do that in New York? You said you only quit working there.
Yeah, so once I left here...
And how'd you decide to go to New York?
Okay, yeah. So I remember my sister, Suede, had an opportunity to go to BeautyCon in New York. It's a beauty convention. And she was like, hey, Blaze, come along with, you've never been to New York, come visit. Me and Mom were going. We ended up going, and I think anyone will tell you the first time you get to New York, you feel that energy, that rush.
Yeah, you're like, I need to be here for a while.
And that's what happened. I think I was already starting to feel a little stagnant because...
You stayed in your same hometown?
Yeah, out of high school, I just went and kept doing the same job.
Yeah.
I was at Central, and everyone else went off to college, and I was like, man, I feel like I haven't had a change in a while. So I left that New York trip, that first one, saying like, this is great. Like,
so did you think like, how am I going to afford to live there if I'm, if I'm this young? And because you must have been a teen.
Yeah, I think I was definitely kind of like, I'd like to make this work. I don't know what it would look like. I've never even wrapped my mind about moving, especially all the way across the country. Yeah. But I had a friend who went to LVA, Kendall Jacob. I was already living there for maybe like a month or two.
To attend college or just to go?
Yeah, she goes to the new school.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And we met for coffee. It was like the last day of the trip. And she was like, I really don't like my roommates. And if you really like New York as much as you say you do,
let's be roommates.
Yeah, you should come out. And so that kind of got the gears going. And so then I went back home, we stayed in contact, and it got to the point where she was like, I'm gonna look for an apartment for us. And it ended up all kind of working out. And I flew out there February of 2016.
Show me some of your freelance work.
Yeah.
Can you show me that?
Totally.
Looking good.
That's great. So is that art you put all on that jacket?
This is all.
So you hand did it?
Hand drawn, yeah.
Wow. And would you draw with paint pen?
Yeah, with like a Sharpie oil-based paint pen. That one.
Let's slide that one up a little so I want to see this.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this piece was inspired by an old jacket I did for Suede back in. It was when I was living here. I was maybe like 19, 20 when I made my first one, and I did it with like just some random leather jacket I found at a Goodwill. But Suede had a video on Closet Raiders. They're another YouTube channel, and a kid saw the jacket that I made for Suede and said, "Oh my gosh, I love it! I'm gonna buy a jacket. I'm gonna send it to you. Can you do this?" And send it back.
That's great.
And so I finished that actually like about a week ago.
Wow. You could just get somebody to get you all these old jackets and do them and get them in these like high-end boutiques.
Yeah.
I like consignment.
These ones are really fun.
So let's see what else. What else are you doing? Like what kind of like graphics do you do?
Digital stuff.
You do postcards and you do album covers or what?
So this is an album cover I just did. It was really fun. My buddy's band, they called it the Sickly Hex.
It looks so retro.
Yeah.
It's a 60s look.
I've definitely been going for...
your graphics have a retro look
lately. But yeah, they gave me this photo to work with. I drew up a couple assets to add on to this. Some of it's a little clip art that I altered. And this is like my hand. I just took a picture of the back, half-toned it. And then... I also made some shirts for them with their logo.
I love it.
And took the little skeleton guy.
Oh yeah.
And threw him on the red shirt. So that was about a couple weeks ago too. I just rebranded my friend's cookie company.
Okay, let's see what that is.
And that one was really fun. So this one I'd say is a little more on the corporate side.
Yeah.
But still.
So are these is this like a store or is it an online?
So yeah, this is my friend Michaela. She is doing cookies out in LA, and I'm pretty sure she's doing it from home at the moment. But she does cookie decorating, and a lot of her stuff is really cool, actually.
Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah, so she came to me with a logo that she had already made, and I kind of changed it up a bit. Gave her a cool little retro feel to her business cards and her postcard. And then made some stickers. So these are the stickers that she uses to put on her boxes when she sends them out.
It's been great talking to Blaze, who I've known since he was a kid, and having the memory of him, drawing the shark in free draw time or whatever has been great. And then to see his journey to going all the way to living in a big city, getting to have a career drawing and making art every day, and getting to do it and support himself through it. It's been really inspiring for me. I'm so proud of you. It's great. And I wish you all the best success in doing everything that you dream of doing and seeing where this takes you. It's been great, and I really thank you for your time and for your inspiration.
Of course, thank you, Cam.
If there are any creative careers that you have an interest in and like to know more about, please comment below and let me know, because I'm sure that some of the many hundreds or thousands of students I've taught over the last couple of decades, I'm sure there's going to be one that's making a career doing that. And maybe I can interview them like I did Blaze and tell you more about what they're doing. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and click that notifications button right up there, and keep making cool art.